Welcome back to Radio Taiwan International. You're listening to Geek Out. What's your cup of tea, tickles your fancy, or floats your boat? Join us as we share passions from people in Taiwan and around the world. I'm your host, Michelle Chang, and today in the studio we have our very own Sharon Lin.
Hello, hello. It's so good to be back on Geek Out.
It's nice to reconnect with the, they've shelved the FM idea, but, the three of us.
Yeah, I just love talking to you. I miss talking to
Dude,
to a fellow.
we're a good team.
Yeah, I miss talking to my colleagues, so thanks for having me.
Yay! So what are we geeking out about today?
We are going to geek out about thrifting.
Yes. This is something that, people I think in the US or Canada might be very familiar with, but you don't really see very much of it in Taiwan at all.
Yeah.
So let's define what thrifting is for folks who are not familiar.
Okay, so this is definitely my personal experience and my personal definition. So I'm in no way a scholar of thrifting.
Can you be a scholar of thrifting?
You know what? Because I love dress history. So I talk to dress historians. So actually, I believe it was in the Victorian era. Thrifting is not simply a 21st century invention. It has been around for some time, and also back in those days there was a lot to do with your social class and what you do, so the dynamic has definitely evolved a lot. But anyway, long story short, thrifting now in 2023 is I define it as you buy secondhand things, things that were already made and
have a really good time doing it.
Yes, because usually I love thrifting, I love fashion. I look forward to getting dressed every day.
Yeah.
Head to toe.
I mean, I understand that some people don't really care about clothing and
which is
maybe
fine.
Yeah, their appearance is not a priority in their life, which is totally cool. To each their own, right?
Yeah.
But I do find that, getting ready every day and putting my face on, doing my hair a little bit, and then selecting what clothing I'm going to wear.
Your makeup always look fire, by the way.
Thank you. I love makeup.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's like that process is a self-boost.
I would agree, yeah.
Right?
And it's very fun.
It's fun.
I think we're both creative people. So we love the process of getting dressed in, yeah.
And, having things, right, the articles of clothing or little rings or earrings or whatnot, and putting them together is actually a very pleasurable experience.
That is very much for me. And let me just start with what I'm wearing now, even though you couldn't see. Or maybe we might include it in a thumbnail. So for me today, head to toe, everything is thrifted except for my undergarments and stuff. I do buy those things.
To be fair, do we want to thrift undergarments?
No,
maybe not.
Well, unless you're wearing them over something as a piece of decorative element, like a lace bralette over or something. That's fine. But anyway, undergarments, they're on you. Don't worry. So
definitely take a picture.
Okay, yes.
For this
please
episode.
Please do. Make me look cute. Okay, yes.
I will.
Yeah.
But yeah, the most fun that we have from thrifting is finding these things and then adding them to our closet so we can enjoy our outfits every day, right?
Yeah.
So thrifting in Taiwan versus the US, because you've done it in both.
Yes, because I used to live in Providence, huge shout out to Providence, for 3 years. And also traveled around New England and the East Coast. Yeah, I would say there is a big, you can say, cultural difference when it comes to thrifting. Yeah, so let's talk about this.
Yes. Where was your first experience thrifting though?
Oh, I think probably very young, because I always love I've always loved flea markets and traditional markets. So I remember as a kid, because kids grow, so I think it's a good thing that my family did pass on to me is when we grow, I remember packing up my clothes that don't fit me anymore and give it to neighbors who have younger kids. Those will fit them. So I think the idea of just having a love for secondhand, hand-me-downs started from a very young age for me. So it came to me very naturally.
That's good.
But
so your first experience was in Taiwan.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, and you were surrounded by people who were definitely pro having hand-me-downs.
Yeah, I mean, many of my clothes I wore as a kid were given to me by the neighbor, big sister.
Oh, cute.
Because, they outgrown their stuff, and so I get to wear them, and so it came to me very naturally.
But as an adult who spends money.
Yeah, yes.
Right? As an adult who spends
money. I love
money.
being financially independent. Get to buy things that I like. Yes.
Right. So did you first start thrifting in Taiwan or in the US?
I would say in Taiwan, because I was born and raised here. I remember in university, I went to Furen University. We also have, there are several secondhand trading buy and sell groups on
Oh,
Facebook.
yes, absolutely.
I took advantage of those because not only you can get, of course, like clothes, but also books, stationaries, and we need a, I don't know, certain calculator for a certain class. People,
especially university students.
yeah, because some people, they already have it and they no longer need it.
Right.
So I would, happily, take it over and, make it my own. So
Yeah, for either people who are on a budget or don't want to live wastefully, I think.
it's very sustainable.
Very.
Yeah, which is another thing that I love about thrifting.
Yeah, Facebook groups are a huge thing in Taiwan. Not so much in the US anymore.
I remember, okay, so as an adult, when I was in Providence, I love just like going to my local flea market and secondhand market, like Savers and everything, which we don't have in
Salvation
Taiwan.
Army.
Oh, yeah, they have great stuff.
I think that's the difference. In Taiwan, you don't really have shops that are dedicated. Not very.
Now we do.
Which
I'm going to talk
about. In 2023, we do.
But
back in the day, when we were still university students, well, especially when I was a university student, definitely no. There really weren't like stores, never mind very large stores dedicated to secondhand things.
Yeah, let's talk about the potential like cultural reason, which we chatted about a little bit. So I would say in general, in East Asian culture, let's take Taiwanese culture as an example.
Right.
I would say most people wouldn't be too hot on the idea of taking over old things of other people because
unfamiliar people especially.
Yes, because how we say look upon life and death is, I would say, this is like very generally speaking, quite different from say people in the West in a way. So I remember like my grandma would definitely remind me to not like take old jackets or old things from people because what if they might they might pass away, so the spirit might still be, I don't know, haunting the sweater that you want, so don't get that. Which I understand. So we have a very deep respect for the deceased, which is good. And also I think that's kind of the sense of spirit would be attached to the item. And
I've also heard not just things that have come from a household where somebody has passed away, but it's just a luck thing, like right. It's like, also like if somebody feng shui stuff, if somebody has to either get rid of or sell
the energy,
all of this stuff, it's like, do you want to take on their
bad luck or
that bad luck,
whatever?
Right. Rather than just seeing the thing as a thing.
But also in a funny way, I definitely remember as a kid, as a student, if say, I don't know, someone who's like, I don't know, the smartest in the class, they always nail every exam, their pencil or whatever, like eraser, would like, oh, may I borrow yours? Because if I write with your pen, maybe I will perform better in my test. So it's like you bring on the positive energy. This is just so Asian.
So something about the luck attached to an object is interesting. That concept.
So coming back to how I feel, having lived in the US, I embrace the idea. Actually, for me personally, I'm very afraid of spooky stuff.
Yes, spooky stuff.
I don't sit well with those creepy stories. But I feel, say, whenever I go thrifting in Savers or Salvation Army, Goodwill, or any secondhand places, if I find something that's already made, like back in those days, and it's still in good condition, for me it's like, okay, this item has served someone so well and it lasts till today. I would love to embrace it. Right. And it tells a good story. So if this sweater served this grandma or grandpa so well back in when they were my age, and now I get to wear this item, I think of it as a very beautiful thing. Like the legacy continues. Right. So that's my philosophy.
There have, I'm sure, been many movies and TV shows made that follow a thing throughout time.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I love those.
I love those episodes of whatever show that is, because a tale can be told just following an object.
Exactly. Yeah. So I love the story element of old clothing, basically. I feel like, especially when it comes to secondhand clothing, they're usually very unique. There's only one piece of that item because they're not wholesale, they're not fast fashion.
Exactly.
So they come in, like, they're in itself already very unique, and the stories that usually come with it. I remember, like when I was in Providence, there's this store I love so much called Nostalgia. I think the owners, they definitely still remember me. Anyway,
can you describe the shop?
Oh, it's okay. It's like walking into a like a Wunderkammer, like a cabinet of curiosities, but in a very modern sense, like nothing colonial, don't worry. It's just like very warm, and just at first glance, everything is one of a kind. and it's usually donated, or basically it's very sustainable because they're all secondhand things. Some are like maybe like newly made, but mostly they're secondhand, and the owners are super nice, warm people. So I just love to go there pretty much like whenever I have time on the weekends. And I remember I found so many interesting things, including the necklace I'm wearing right now, which has a horse on it.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah,
it's
horses are
really
my favorite animals.
Oh.
Yeah, I got this from that store. So I remember I got this jacket. On the tag, it says made in West Germany.
Oh, wow.
So it came from a time that there was a East and
Germany,
West Germany.
exactly.
And those two sides were very different. And so just that alone, it not only piques my interest in learning about history, but also that this item has carried something, I would guess, very powerful.
Right.
So I think of it as an honor that I get to find it, and now I wear it.
And wonder about what story it tells.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, looking at it, I look at thrifting, I actually love the fact that you are very much into the stories that items can tell. I look at it more of a sustainable point of view, because
yes, definitely, yeah.
2023 is now looking at our objects, especially fashion, in a very destructive way.
Yeah.
Where people just buy
want new things. Yeah,
they just want new things.
I'm not a fan of.
And there's so many trends and fads because TikTok or whatever, right? So you just want to go out and because most people these days, the man has made it, so we don't have that much money. So you buy cheaply made, mass-produced goods that are all soulless.
Yeah,
and it's the amount of resources that go into producing, say, one shirt. I actually have to look up those statistics, and I'll eventually do it on another show, possibly with Sharon back, right?
Oh, yeah.
But to buy like one brand newly produced t-shirt is very damaging to the environment.
Yeah.
Versus going to a thrift shop and getting something that, as you say, could be like one of a kind and could have a story behind it, right?
And it definitely depends on, I know there are some, say, vintage stores that they do sell secondhand things, but they're so expensive. Many different reasons. But so usually I think when I do thrifting is really I try to find just really mostly hand-me-down secondhand things, so they're really cheap. Like for example at the flea market near Gongguan, it's really just people selling the stuff that they no longer need,
right?
So you can get like 10 kuai of like 10 Taiwanese dollars of like, I don't know,
10 NT dollars is roughly 30 US cents.
Very cheap.
Very
and just
cheap.
A white t-shirt. Oh, this guy doesn't need it and it fits me. Okay, I'll get it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you wash it and it's like it's yours.
It's yours.
So I love buying those things. So yeah, there are definitely more, I don't know, like trendy, quote unquote, vintage items that, strike as, very expensive. So I do buy those things from time to time, but it's not the majority of things that I thrift. Yeah.
I think we are all
I love
entitled.
like savers. Saver is such a gold mine. Oh
we
goodness.
are all entitled to treat ourselves to something that might be new. That's cool.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't look at fashion like every time we go out shopping, we buy a whole bunch of new stuff in order to fit this fad, and then when we don't need anymore, we throw it out.
Yeah.
I think the places like Savers or the Salvation
I
Army.
love Savers.
Right?
Yeah, for
Like
people who don't know Savers. So it's this like big...
Please describe it.
Big secondhand shop that's mostly... I know they're not in New York, because in New York it's Goodwill. So Savers, there's a big one in Providence, for example. So mostly like northeast New England in the US.
It's box store sized, so it's a huge store.
It's a treasure mountain. Oh my goodness. I bought the pair of shoes I'm wearing right now. They're, if I remember it correctly, they're handmade in Italy some time ago.
Cute.
Yeah, they fit me so well, very good condition, and I got them just less than $10 US.
Wow.
And it's genuine leather.
Genuine leather, and they're
and it's secondhand, so they're already made, so
they're
sustainable. Yeah.
What do they call those, brogues?
You know what? It's you remember the Kingsman movie? It's
exactly,
Oxfords. Oxfords are not brogues. So don't quote me on this. I believe these are Oxfords. I don't know. Don't include this in the photo. Yeah, but
Something.
Very nice, formal looking.
Right.
These are my go-to whenever I have a formal occasion to attend. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I think those shops, if you have,
So
you have, first of all, you have to go there, fueled and ready
Yes.
for a treasure hunt.
So usually how I do this is I I don't own a car when I was living. I didn't own a car, so I would bike for I think around more than 20 minutes just to go thrifting at that big Savers by the highway. And I would take at least 2 like reusable shopping bags that I own.
Yes.
And I would be carrying a backpack to maximize the things I could carry. So usually I got most of my winter stuff because in Providence we have some very harsh winters.
Yes,
I got most of my heavy
cold
sweaters from Savers.
Right.
And they're great, and I still have them in my closet in Taipei now that I moved back, and they served me so well, and they served other people who owned them so well. So I love that legacy passing down.
My favorite thing about those big stores though is just aisles and aisles of clothing,
and the decoration section usually have some very fun like weird little
so
like,
weird
so
to clarify, it's not just aisles and aisles of clothing, but there's also many things,
household items, electronics, CDs, DVDs, books, a bunch of like Twilight, I don't know
a whole bunch of stuff. There is a just go in there and be ready.
It's so fun.
It's to spend hours in there because you can totally do that. I do love the fact that they separate their clothing by size.
Yes.
Right? And by style, by size. And same with the shoes. So it's fairly easy to find.
So easy to navigate.
Exactly. To find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And then if you go there with a group of friends.
Oh, so fun.
Possibly inebriated. Then you could have so much fun just trying on themed outfits and things.
Oh, yes.
So fun. Definitely, if you've never done this, you should go do this.
Highly recommend. It's an experience. I would recommend. Yeah,
absolutely. But in Taiwan, there's none of these larger, thrift shops.
Yeah,
they're starting to pop up.
Yeah, we have a bigger one now. This is definitely not an ad. So there is a store called. It's literally called Secondhand. I believe they were founded in Japan, but they have different branches. I think mostly in Taipei. Nowadays,
I've seen it in the Q Square Mall.
There's one near the train station. So I do go thrift there, and they have some pretty good stuff. And they're really also like genuinely secondhand items that people donate. And I mean, they sell to them. I've also donated some of my things, and I get like some money back, but it's not. It's okay. So anyway, they're all secondhand things people, sold to the store. So yeah.
I do think though that like a lot of the things that they sell here in secondhand stores, as you've said before, are kind of expensive. Yeah. Because in Taiwan, I'm going to say most people have really just hung on to, or I guess sold items that they feel have a larger value, like, LV bags or other designer shoes or that kind of thing, rather than everyday item.
Yeah, like if I'm looking for just everyday, because I think you know this about me. I like so-called brand name things like Louis Vuitton or I don't know Coach. They never hold any allure to me. I never find myself that I want that brand. No, nothing.
Although you know what I've always wanted?
Yeah,
one of those LV steamer trunks, vintage. From.
Okay.
Like they're 100 years old or something.
That I would, that's interesting because I think I chatted with you about this because anyway, we're both nerds. So there's
if I can own that item, that would mark my achievement of success.
Okay, because
because they're so expensive.
No, the perspective that I have on those is I read a research of one of the latest we can say excavations underwater of the Titanic, and they found those ones made by Louis Vuitton, and when I open it, it's almost like no water in it.
They're very well
made. So the craftsmanship. When it comes to craftsmanship and history, that I do understand. But usually I don't wear or want to own any brand name items, but I love things that comes with a good story. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So in Taiwan, we really get to look for everyday items. It's mostly flea markets.
Yeah, or traditional market. Oh, the Cai Sichang. Like I got this dress at the Cai Sichang. It's 100 kuai. It's around.
Oh, really? It was only 100?
Just a little bit over $3. It fits me so well, and I love the swoosh. I want to feel like a superhero whenever I walk on the streets, and I want to pass by like a storefront with glass at the front, and I want to admire my own reflection. So I got this dress like 100 kuai, and it's like I love this.
So for our listeners who have never thrifted or have never really purchased, maybe they walked through but never purchased anything from a flea market, we are here to encourage you.
Yes,
to go.
Please do.
If you were in the U.S., you go to Savers or Goodwill or Salvation Army and go and have a good time. Take a look. In Taiwan, hit up your flea markets or secondhand or any other little shops.
And also like this is what I love to do whenever I go traveling. When I was in Florence and Venice and Paris, I just want to go find like local flea markets and secondhand shops, and you always find some gems.
You do. You always find something really that is really beautiful, might tell a tale, things that have lasted until today, that were made
sustainable,
right, that were, and they of course are sustainable, but they are well made. I don't think things are made the same anymore.
It's very different.
It's
absolutely I do. As we talked about, I think we do appreciate the craftsmanship back in those days.
Exactly.
Not saying that no one's doing that nowadays, but it's a fairly rare
with
thing
fast
with
fashion,
the wave of fast
exactly
fashion.
with fast fashion, it's not the same kind of quality. But yes, please do thrift.
Yes.
Thank you so much for geeking out with me today.
Thank you. I love it.
And thanks listeners for tuning in to Radio Taiwan International. I'm Michelle Chang, and we'll be back next Thursday with another episode of Geek Out.
Bye.
Bye.